In a world that's rushing, we slow it down, finding light where shadows surround. Heart to heart, where the truth is told. We rise together, stories unfold. The road is within. If you don't go within, you go without. Every voice, every heart, it's what we're about. Together we rise, hand in hand, soul to soul. Warm, safe and loving, making each other.
Okay. Hello.
Hey, everybody. Welcome.
I'm Coach Alisha Schwartz.
And I am Coach Rochelle Schwartz. And we are,
Together we rise.
and we are also mother-daughter.
That's
dynamic duo. Don't forget that.
No, you cannot forget
No,
that.
you can't.
So what we're doing today on our podcast is we have a series, and it's a 3-part series, and it's called Enlighten View. And we have a panelist today that are going to talk about this topic, which is power looks better when it's authentic.
Ooh, I like that one.
And we have really some special guests, and we'll bring them up in a few moments. But let's talk about it.
Ooh, authentic,
All right,
huh?
let's talk about it.
Wow.
Power looks better when it's authentic. What does that actually mean to you?
Right. I think I can say that if you don't have a lot of self within yourself, knowing kind of who you are authentically, it's harder. And you know, I think of a stage, but with people as well.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't know who you are, you're going to make up this whole thing about who you think you are.
So give me an example.
And you're not.
So give me an example, like in your own life, so people out there can understand. So what you're saying is,
Okay.
maybe the thing that you show the world, your persona,
Yeah.
could be you're so kind and friendly.
Okay.
But that's not really there's another part of you that could be more authentic, which is maybe,
Well, I think
being more real.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, it was like if I got up and I had to talk or I wanted to answer a question, I'd have to go into my mind and say, what am I going to answer it so nobody will look at me like I'm stupid? But obviously that was a real biggie for me. I mean, that really ran my life for many, many years. Now it's whatever.
Right.
But it
Thank
did.
God.
Thanks to God. But that's really was a very, very big thing for me. And I remember somebody saying to me, you know, they don't even know what you're talking. I mean,
Yeah.
you have the work, you know what you want to bring, and don't worry about it, you know?
Yeah, and I think the conversations that we have in our mind, like if I think about power looks better when it's authentic, I think when you do enough work within yourself, you're not looking at, oh, I have to be a particular way so that people will like me, or I have to look this way so that I'm accepted. Because you have come to terms with a lot of who you are, there's no negative conversation in your mind anymore. You're just who you are. There's not this negative dialogue going, well,
You have to show up a certain way.
You have to answer it this way. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, I could say now, after being 52 and doing tons of this work for 20 some odd years and then coaching people, I could say I don't have that dialogue anymore in my mind. I'm just me. This is it.
Well, also, I think, like, I remember going into a room of networking people, and it was always like, oh, I had to connect with this one, and I needed, and now if I to do that, it's like you come to me, or that's really it, because I don't have to be anybody other than who I am, which is really a very peaceful and happy and loving space to be who I am today.
And I also think people, especially people that are listening, I'm sure you can relate to the fact that, you know, maybe you had to perform a particular way to be loved or liked by your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, the coworker. So you develop this way of being, thinking that's really who you are. And it really, you find out it's not. It's just something you developed over time to be loved and liked.
Because you never got it.
Because you never got it.
Right.
And so you go out there thinking you need to be that to get that kind of
Right.
love. And all you really have to do is just be you. And that's the unlayering and
Right.
the coaching and all the
Right.
stuff we've done internally. And
Yeah.
so that's what we're really
Yeah.
here to talk about, really.
And being authentic now is like, it's really who you really are. I mean, it's happy and light, and you know, you want to share things with people, and you're not afraid that they're going to look at you crazy, like, what does she know? What, you know, you just being you, and that to me is worth £1,000,000 of gold.
And you know, isn't it funny, because you hear this all the time? You know, what are people's biggest fear is public speaking. And I can understand that, because my whole story with my learning challenge, my learning disability, and feeling like I wasn't enough and was stupid, all of that can definitely affect who you are in the world and being authentic, because you're not being all of who you are because you're afraid to speak up or speak your truth, or
Yeah, and
you're going to look bad, or all that.
And I think if you're even in a conversation with somebody and you are being honest with each other, it's such an act of love.
Yeah, the
You
vulnerability.
know, the vulnerability, real, and then you make the other person feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, so they're open to sharing. And I think that's also energetically as well.
Yeah, it's funny. I was on a call with someone I hadn't spoken to in so long, and we just talked for like 5 minutes. And in that 5 minutes, I felt so loved and so supported. And it's not anything this person said. It was just who they were, and knowing
They're being, yeah.
who I was
Yeah.
in their world. So, you know, again, it was authentic. It was totally one. And I thought, how perfect, because we're going on today.
Speaking about
being
yeah, in that beingness.
Yeah.
You know, and that's like, it's so important to really get to know who you are, because we're all here for, I believe, a very special purpose. And if you can't be who you are, you know, you're really struggling and you're fooling yourself.
And
you
you're
don't
ripping
have
you're
to.
ripping
Yeah,
all the people off
totally.
in the world that really need to
Totally.
see. Maybe you have something, obviously, we all have something that someone else maybe not, that doesn't have, that you share, that changes their life, you know? We hear that too a lot of times. Wow, you know, I coached with you 20 years ago, and boom, or 10 or 5 or whatever it is. So we are getting ready in one moment.
Ooh, how excited.
Right?
Ooh.
To bring up our guests. So let's do it. There we
Wow,
are.
look who's here. Wow. Look
We
at
have
this.
our special guest.
Yeah, we have a party going on.
So we have Barbara Ellison. I always say Ellison.
Ellison.
I don't
She
know.
does.
It's just so interesting. Barbara Ellison, and then we have Jeff Malone. So why don't we go to Barbara first and just share a little bit about who you are first, and then we'll go to the topic.
All right. Okay.
And then
Yeah,
we'll
hi,
do
everybody. Number one, thanks for having me. I mean,
So
I
happy
love
to
doing
have
these.
you.
And such a necessary topic, because authenticity is, I mean, it's so important. So for myself, I'm a life transition mentor, and I work with late career business professionals who are facing retirement, and they're having trouble in 3 areas: personal growth and identity, huge. Their ultimate health is suffering and their financial security. So this part of it is exactly what I talk about with my clients, because so often people, when we don't lead from authenticity, it's like we are stifling our being able to connect,
Yeah.
because people want to connect with people who are real.
Yeah.
And if you're this person out there that you're trying to be somebody that you're not, yeah, it doesn't happen.
No.
Sorry,
Is that okay?
I forgot to turn my phone off. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But anyway,
That's
so
being authentic. There you go.
there you go.
Yes. So great. So thank you for sharing a little bit about who you are. We'll be back. Don't worry. Let's introduce Jeff Malone.
Hey there.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Who am I?
Yeah, who are you?
Who are you today?
I'm sort of a Renaissance individual in the transformational world. I'm a corporate executive that came over to this, and I've kind of been dancing in both worlds for many years. I do a lot of cultural work with organizations. I still do some strategic consulting with corporations and organizations. And I do a lot of individual coaching. And so I decided when I started facing retirement that I wanted to be doing something that I could do for the rest of my life, and working with people and staying connected was really important to me. So I made a choice and jumped into this field, and it's been very kind to me, very kind to me. It introduced me to the two of you.
That's
So,
great. That is true.
It's interesting when you sent the topic to me, that and I started thinking about that and listening to what Barbara and you have said. What hit me was that there's a difference between power and force, and we have to go to force when we're not authentic. And when we're authentic, we're empowered, and you can really tell, that if you have to force something, you're not being straight, you're not being real with yourself.
Yeah.
And it's really important to look at that. And what drives power, what's interesting to me about power, is that we have to think about, what is it that we use our power for? We get pulled forward by something that we're inspired by, that we love, that fits for us. And so we know we have to use power for that. If it's not that, we have to force ourselves. How many times have you had to force yourself to do something you didn't really want to do?
Yep.
Now, we can sit here and say it's powerful. I want to make money. Well, I don't really want to make money. I want to have a good time, but I forced myself to make money. And so it's really understanding that is kind of the key to staying authentic.
I really love what you're saying. It's really powerful, because it is true. If you're forcing, how are you being authentic with yourself? How are you being true? Right? Yeah. You're just driven by that thing that you think you have to want or have, when you're not even connected to the authenticity inside of you to even check in to see, is that something that's authentic for me or not? Right?
But sometimes you don't know. Like, I got married and I knew I shouldn't, but I did.
At the time, it was a different scenario because of your story around
Correct. Absolutely.
But then look at where that drove you.
Right. Exactly.
What forced you to get married?
What
forced you to get married?
Because I thought I wanted to get out of my parents' house.
Fear.
Because that was so wonderful.
Fear.
Was fear. And that basically what was the driving force. Even though I wanted to leave, I couldn't.
Right.
So
I remember for myself as a young woman, it was like, women, I'm 75, and women we were brought up to be wives and mothers. We weren't brought up to be career women.
Correct.
Like my age.
To have businesses and those kinds of things. And what I truly believe now, that the authentic power that we can have, it's about being true to those values. Like I wanted to be a wife and a mother. However, I was brought up in a family that was very different from how I was myself. So what you talked about at the beginning, I did everything to fit in.
Yep.
And it wasn't until I lost my husband that I realized, okay, I have no idea who I am outside of all the labels that I had put on myself.
Right.
So that's when we have to be open to new perspectives that might be different from ours of what we've been brought up with. But we can embrace them and look at them and see, oh, ooh, that sounds so much, that resonates with me.
Yeah.
Or no, that doesn't resonate with me.
Yeah.
And you can just be open and be able to say that when you're truly authentic with yourself.
100%. And I think this is why we decided to do this series, the Enlighten View, because, you know, we want people as they're watching to see these conversations and start to open up to themselves, to see what that looks like for them, and to help the world to see themselves.
And I think that us doing this and everybody sharing stories helps everybody else to know they're not alone on this. You know, it'll click with a lot of people. So I think that's really important.
So let's ask this next question.
All right. The next question is, how does authenticity free us?
Who wants to take a stab at that first?
How does it really free us?
For me, it just lets us be us. To be the real me. And for me personally, I think it's about stewardship. It's about, because we want to be able to take care of the spaces we're in, the people that are around us, this time where we have been given right now. Like, I know that it's for such a time as this that I'm here. And if I'm not being my authentic self, because I work with late career business professionals who are facing retirement. Well, you don't have to retire. You just have to get in touch with who you really are and say, okay, what do I want to do with my next chapter?
Yeah.
What are the skills that I have acquired in this usually really long and a satisfying career, but then people get to retirement and then they go, is this all there is? Like the analogy that I tend to use a lot is that, you know, people have gone up the corporate ladder. They've got the corner office, they've got the Mercedes-Benz or whatever their car of choice is. And yet they wake up every morning and go, how can I tell people that I'm not happy? And that's exactly what's happening when we are not authentically true to ourselves, what's in us. Because lots of times people came out of college and they went to college, they got a job. And by that time, of course, they had the mortgage. How am I going to give up all of this? And now to tell people I'm not happy and I want to quit my job. Well, don't quit your job just yet, but let's get in touch with who you are. What makes your heart sing? What lights you up? And how can you take what you've had, all these skills for all of these years, take those skills and put them into practice and listen to what people are looking for. And you will find your tribe.
Totally. Absolutely. Well said. Thank you, Barbara.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Jeff, how does
I agree 100% with Barbara, because I'm living proof of that. That's exactly what I did. But I think there's an added thing to it, that there's an energetic piece of what does it take to not be authentic? How much energy do you spend in not being yourself? And what does that do to the relationships around you? There's a thing about authenticity that when we're not real, we can create relationships that aren't real. And we spend tons of energy holding things up that really were never intended to be, or were intended to look completely different. And so I do a lot of the same work, Barbara, except my clients haven't quit yet. They haven't retired yet, but they're just as unhappy and they're just as lost. And it's not so much in directing them back to authenticity, because a lot of them feel like they're being authentic. What I talk about is, what's it costing you? What does it cost you to carry all of this? What is it really worth? Is this really what you want? Have you really looked at how you're spending your time and the capacity you have? And it's true for executives and it's true for individual people.
So Jeff, let me ask you a question with what you're saying, because it's all powerful and really authentic.
It's right on target. You're right on target.
Can you give us an example in your own life how authenticity freed you?
Yeah.
What comes to mind?
I was in what appeared to be an incredibly wonderful marriage with a woman that didn't respect me and didn't honor me and thought I wasn't enough. And I stayed in it because I thought that's what you were supposed to do. And I was supposed to be a provider. My job was to make her happy and take care of kids. And one day I was sitting there and I went, wait, I don't want my kids to witness this. This is not what I want them to see in a relationship. If I'm really real with myself, I need to take responsibility for the nature of relationships that I expose my children to.
Yeah.
To the person that I'm being, because I'm a demonstration for them.
Yep.
I'm teaching them what it is to be human. And I had to become completely authentic and give up a relationship that the world looked at and went, you guys are perfect.
Yeah.
They didn't know the inside. They didn't know what was happening inside. And my life shifted dramatically in that moment. And I had a better relationship with her and my children afterwards.
Yeah.
That's
And I
true.
think people stay because of fear,
Yeah, and because
right?
of the kids.
Because of the kids. And I love what you said about you were the example for your kids, and you didn't want them to see that kind of father being in a relationship and being that mirror. You wanted to be a different kind of father. So you showed them another way, which is great, which is amazing, which is
Well, I do a lot of relationship coaching. I do. I coach a lot of people on how to build a good relationship. And I'll tell you the one piece of advice that I start with everyone. Be the authentic you and see who shows up.
Yep.
Don't try and be yourself.
Yeah.
Well said.
Well said.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that the men at this time of our lives think the same way that we did when we were, of course, younger? Today, things have changed.
You mean like old people?
Like old people, in other words, how the man has to take care of the children and that kind of stuff. I think it's changed.
Yeah, dramatically.
Well, it has. I have a daughter who's married and at 38. I have another daughter who's 35 and dating, and I've got a son that's 31 or should be 34. And they have a completely different approach to relationship than we did. They look at it completely different. And men today, they don't see it as needing to be, I need to jump into something and I need to have kids and I need to be a provider.
Yes.
It's much more about what am I going to do to have a good time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean,
so you think the responsibility shifted?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's on the woman.
And so many men now are realizing that, like some people that I know, she's the breadwinner and he's the stay-at-home dad.
Yep.
And because they were on the brink of divorce. And she was sitting there. She said, well, I feel so unfulfilled. I'm just sitting here with the kids. And he was like, but I hate my job. I want to be at home.
Yeah.
So they just did the total switch. And now, I mean, this just been amazing. And like in my own life, I look back, I was married twice. My first husband, I got divorced. My second husband passed away. But the two men that I married were both similar to my family.
Of course.
Of course.
Because that's what I felt comfortable with to fit in.
Yeah.
Well, then after David died, and it was like, okay, I'm not going to do this again. I need to be happy within me and find out who I am outside of being a daughter and a wife and a mother and a divorced failure and the successful wife again, grandmother, business owner, but who's Barbara in all of that?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the biggest things for men and women.
Yes, I agree.
Get in touch with that.
Yeah. And
who are you within what you do? Who are you? Who are you within your family? Who are you within your relationship? Get in touch with all of those pieces, and then you'll find out who's authentically. I love what Jeff said. See who shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barbara, you're really speaking into something powerful, and it reminds me that I'm finally in a relationship that really works, and I'm in a relationship where we have two basic rules. Okay. One, get up every morning and decide to be in this relationship.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
2, all feelings are welcome. We don't take it personal. Somebody needs to be upset. Somebody needs to be stressed. Somebody needs to be angry, whatever they need to be, we welcome that with each other. And and that is one of the keys to authenticity, choice and expression.
Yeah.
And one of the things, can I just add?
Sure.
Chat, what we're talking about not only applies to us within ourselves and our relationship, it also applies to our job.
Yeah.
Are you in a job that fulfills your passions and that kind of stuff? Or are you in a job that you absolutely hate? Well, reevaluate. Is it worth it to spend another 20 years hating what you're doing?
Yeah.
Or let's reevaluate your relationship. Are you having trouble with your boss? Okay, well, is it your issue or is it their issue? Well, let's find out. Because that's a relationship also. The relationship to how you feel about what you do when you go to your job. Do you feel fulfilled? Do you feel like you're just a clog in a wheel?
Yeah.
But sometimes that's a choice too.
Absolutely. And I think it all comes down to, I love what all of you are saying, but I also think it comes back to ourselves. Are we in touch with ourselves enough to even know if we're being authentic or not? Right? I mean, that's where it all stems from. So I think that we're all talking about the same thing and in different forms and ways.
Right.
And I also think it's just the basic of who we are. Like when you wake up in the morning, can you look at yourself and really feel good about what you see in the mirror? Are you authentic with even looking at yourself, feeling good? Or do you feel like shit about yourself? Do you know what I'm saying? And that's authentic.
There's so many things to do to really feel authentic,
And what are you telling yourself first thing in the morning?
Exactly.
Like to me, hey, this is going to be a great day.
Exactly.
This is going to be
things keep happening to me today.
Great things are happening to me today. This is the day that the Lord has made. I'll rejoice and be glad in it. And I can handle whatever is happening today.
Exactly. True. What were you going to say, Jeff?
I do that a little different. I take full responsibility for my day being great. Yes, and I ask myself, how am I going to make it great?
How am I going to
make it great?
How am I going to make sure today is great? Because I don't know how many days I have.
There you go.
And we have to do that. It's interesting the comments you're making about authenticity and individually. How do we know? Well, what happens to us as children or even as adults is we find ourselves in situations that we try to be something different than we are, and we think that's who we are from that point forward. We get locked into it, and we forget what our authentic expression is in trying to fit in.
Yep.
And that it becomes the neural pathways get locked in, and we don't even recognize ourselves. So we have to spend time really remembering, and you can do it by what feels right.
Right.
What feels right.
Exactly.
Right.
So what's resonating with you?
Yeah. So we are so excited because we have another 2 of our Enlighten View topics, which we were going to do next. We'll get back there next Friday and then the following, and we're going to come up with 2 more topics for you all.
Yeah.
So this has been,
it's so cool.
Amazing.
It really is. It went by so fast.
And it's so different when you have a panel because it really adds so much value to the topic, really, because it's your experiences in life that make other people see themselves through
and
it.
Again, it's their viewpoints.
Absolutely.
Everybody has a different viewpoint.
And all is welcome. Like Jeff says, in his relationship, all feelings are welcome. All is welcome. So, and that's a great takeaway. So thank you both.
Thank you guys. We're so excited.
Thank
love you both. Really.
Thanks for having us. That's cool.
Thank you.
I'm Coach Alisha Schwartz.
Oh, hello.
I'm Coach Rochelle Schwartz.
We are the mother-daughter dynamic duo, relationship and wellness coaches.
Yes, we are for
with
many years.
Another amazing topic of forgiveness.
Oh boy, I tell you, if everybody can just do forgiveness, they will be free.
Yeah, because, I think it was one of our mentor and teacher Debbie Ford said it, and I know there's a lot of people that say it out there, but when you don't forgive, it's like drinking the other person's poison.
Yeah.
And you don't want to drink anyone's
No.
poison.
And where does it land? It lands within your own body. And that's what happens. And then disease starts to happen because you're holding in that anger when all you need to do is just start to forgive, really. Why are you laughing?
It's so true.
I get very emotional because I mean, you've done it, I've done it.
I think forgiveness is an ongoing process because I don't think it's just a one and done. I think,
it's not.
in life, you're going to come across people that do things to you, whether it's a relationship, whether it's your mother, your sister, your brother, a significant other. It doesn't matter. You have to be willing to always forgive and forgive and forgive.
And you have to look at yourself.
Yeah.
You do.
Well,
you really
to forgive.
Yeah, to forgive, you got to look at yourself.
100%. So what's the tip? What would you tell people out there if they were going to do, let's say, something to help them forgive? What would it be?
I would say write a forgiveness letter. I really mean that. I forgive blah, 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 blah. And it's so cathartic because you'll be releasing a lot of your anger and unhappiness once you write that forgiveness letter to yourself. And then I would also write a forgiveness letter to the person that pissed you off.
And when you forgive, you have so much laughter inside. You become emotionally free. That's the other thing.
Yes.
By writing this letter that's I forgive myself for, and then just keep writing.
100%.
And when you do that, you'll be emotionally free and happy again.
Yes, like us.
Like us. So that's the tip for forgiveness. So
Yay.
we will be back with another topic. But until then, mwah.
Wow. Yes,
was
that is
awesome.
true about forgiveness, I will say. But we had a great time.
Oh, yeah. And it's also forgiveness is being authentic.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, that's part of it.
Yeah.
So what is a quick tip for people out there that they can do, an action, a nugget of wisdom that they can do to really become better at being more authentic? What do you think? What's one thing they can do?
Well, when something bothers you, and this just happened, and I would get up in the middle of the night, and then I realized that it was something I needed to look at that was disturbing me about what this person did. And then I cleared it up with myself, but I still needed to have this conversation, and I did. And it was so cool. I had no charge. I had nothing, but I was very loving, but I shared how I felt.
Yeah.
And she was very good. She listened. She said, I heard you, but I wasn't finished. So I had to go back again. And then I did what I had to. And it was like this freedom of sharing. And so look at somebody that you really want to say, and you have to, I think you need to be safe with the person.
Yeah,
and
and
then with yourself. Yeah, you have
Set
the
it up that way.
communication has to be set up. It really does.
Yeah, for sure.
And
And
what
I
about you?
think I think one of the things we always talk about is mirroring.
Mhm.
Mirroring work is so powerful. And I really believe that when you connect with the eyes, which is the windows to the soul, connect to the body by using your hands to the heart chakra, the throat chakra, that part of your body where you're connecting the feeling, that you look in the mirror and you just say, what do I need to do today to be more authentically who I am? And just trust what comes. It might be deliver an undelivered communication. When you deliver an undelivered communication, you become free. Maybe it's, saying no. Maybe it's you always say yes, and having boundaries by saying no is more authentic.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Or maybe it's saying yes to something
Yeah.
you're not really always accustomed to doing to get out of your comfort zone, which would be more authentic.
Yeah.
I think it's an individual process in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
So it's looking in the mirror and saying, again, what can I do today to be more authentically who I am? And see what comes up. Trust it. Don't judge it.
Yeah, don't judge it. Just trust it.
So that's our tip for
Yes,
today.
our golden nuggets.
So we will be back with our second series on Enlighten View.
Wow, what a great day it was.
So
Guys,
thank you, Jeff and Barbara,
you.
and thank you
Thank you,
everyone out
guys,
there.
for
Make sure
watching.
you like and subscribe.
Mwah.
In a world that's rushing, we slow it down, finding light where shadows surround, heart to heart where the truth is told.